What's up, dudes? In the studio. Somebody might be in a studio. So, we got a history lesson. This has been coming through, but I'm going to add on to it, too. So, before I lived in Richfield, I lived in South Minneapolis. And if you're not from the Twin Cities are Minneapolis and St. Paul. And they are two big cities that are right next to each other, and they're separated by a river called Mississippi. And so it's really a big metropolitan place. And I have been in other cities where you leave the city and you drive to in kind of like a no man's land, and then the first suburb is there. That's not how the Twin Cities work. The Twin Cities just they call it the metropolitan area, and it just kind of oozes out. So a street may be what is changing the city to the first ring suburb, but you wouldn't know the difference if you were just standing there. That's how the Twin Cities work. So Spirit has been bringing in the Song of Hiawatha in Minnehaha Falls. Some lessons on Minnehaha Falls in the Song of Hiawatha. So if you are local, if you're not and you haven't seen the video yet, I have a video where I actually filmed stopping off at Minnehaha Falls. And so I'll link that in the comment section of this video. And I'll also link a history lesson about the debauchery that went down at Minnehaha Falls back in the turn of the century, and how famous Minnehaha Falls was as a destination place back in the day, where it shows newspaper headlines which says the orgies down at Minnehaha Falls are going to be stopping. Yeah, there was a lot of drunken debauchery down at the falls. So if you're local, you might not know that places like Lake Nokomis, Lake Hiawatha, Minnehaha, you may think those are showing respect to an actual Native American person. So like Nokomis has a lake named after them. That's not the case. Nokomis, Minnehaha, Hiawatha are all characters in a story that's called the Song of Hiawatha. It's an epic poem. And so, like they say in this clip I'm going to link down in the comment section, it's like saying, we'll do it through Star Wars. That's Lake Boba Fett. That's Lake Yoda. And those are Princess Leia Falls. Those people never existed. They were characters in a story. And so a bunch of people might have a paradigm shift about that. But the towns that we have called like Wayzata, Shakopee, Chaska, those were real Native American people. So a waterfall might mean something. All right, there's the lesson. Can you believe there was a bunch of debauchery down at the falls? Oh my God. Back in the day, the Song of Hiawatha became really famous, and it kind of went viral. And Minnehaha Falls in South Minneapolis became a destination vacation spot where people would go in their Victorian clothes down to the falls. People would recite, I hear Kiss My Grits. People would recite performances of the Song of Hiawatha. And it would be kind of stereotypical Now when we look back, completely not politically correct. But it was trying to be an appreciation of the culture rather than an appropriation type thing. So that's what, if you're from the Twin Cities, and it was written by a man named Longfellow. And that's why we have an area of the city that's the Longfellow neighborhood. Interesting. Isn't it interesting? All right. Who's this message for? Who's this message for? Aquarius. Aquarius is getting a lot of messages. I want to show how this landed. Taurus, you landed right on there. Let's hear about it. Whoops, I accidentally turned it off. I swear I didn't move anything or do anything. Let's see. So a sunset or something might mean something. Taurus, life is a gift. Life is unfolding for you. So seize the day and make the most of every chance to be true to yourself and live life to the fullest. It's time to cut out all the noise. All right. So, Twin Cities, Minnesota, known, land of 10,000 lakes, more, yeah. We're water people here. There's water kind of all around us. So Spirit wants to go through, let's think about the lesson of the speedboat again for Taurus. So we'll start it with a lesson on memento mori. Art history here. Art history. Okay. Wind. So if you look at old still lifes, you may see a skull in with the arrangement. You may see fruit, like a still life of fruit or flowers, where the fruit is kind of like rotting a little bit, or the flower has a droopy part and there might be a petal that has fallen off and it's on the table. And that concept is called memento mori. And so memento mori means remember death. And so a lot of times we may kind of mind fuck ourselves, for lack of a better way to say it, that we're younger than we are. So in my head, I feel younger than 51. And most people feel like that. But my body is 51. So without being aware of that, and this is part of what doing the work is staying aware of these things. If I'm not aware that my vessel is getting older, I might not take care of it properly, rest and nourish it properly. I may put things aside, telling myself, I got so much time. I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to get to it. But I am stuck in this karmic soul thing that just doing the same karmic lesson over and over and over again. But one day I'll do that. So that's what memento mori is for. It's to remember that death is coming. So we may hear, did you hear about so-and-so? They got a really terrible diagnosis. And we say, yeah, I hope they don't die. Yeah, we're all going to die. And it's not to scare us to think about it this way. It's to remind us that we're all going to die. And so we better live our life to the fullest. And so I had just recently Googled it. Average lifespan for an American is 78.4 or something like that years. Women are 81 and the men are at like 75 or something like that, which which brings it to 78 average. Yeah, how much time you got left? Are you living on borrowed time? Are you living your life to the fullest? Because we're all gonna die. And so that's what the memento mori concept is, and it's to try to get you to remember this so you live in the present moment. Because you can get stuck in the front of the speedboat or the back of the speedboat. And here is the lesson on the speedboat. Imagine a speedboat on a river, and you have 3 places within the boat that you can choose to have your ride. You can sit at the back of the speedboat and stare at the churning, bubbling gray water from the motor and just stare at it the whole time. Or you can stand at the very front of the boat, constantly craning your neck to see what is coming around the bend. Okay, what's next? What's next? Okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? Not really even registering. And a lot of masculine energy gets stuck at the front of the boat because it's old primal energy of when the masculine had to protect the tribe. That's how far that energy goes. And so what Spirit is trying to get people from the back of the boat and the front of the boat, and the front of the boat is called anxiety. It's called anxiety. It's called living in the future, and you don't know what's going to happen. And so constantly craning your neck to see what's coming at you. Spirit wants to bring everybody to the middle of the boat. And the middle of the boat is called the present moment. And we've all heard that. Yeah, present moment. Yeah. But really think about it. Because when you stand in the middle of the boat, you can see everything that is just whizzing past you. Because if you stand at the back of the boat and just watch that churned up water called your past and obsess and ruminate, or if you stand at the front of the boat, constantly just waiting for what's next, not seeing anything, you're going to miss it all because it's never coming back. It's constantly going. Memento mori. Remember death. So stand in the middle of the boat and enjoy the ride. My computer just turned off. There's the message. All right, let's get a final message. What lies beneath? What lies beneath? Woo! Insecure and expecting new beginning. Next message. What's the next message? Okay. So, a new baby might mean something. If it's not a baby, it might be a spiritual baby. So a spiritual baby is when an emperor and empress energy get together and they do something really big for the collective. The staff. And final message. What's the final message? Somebody who may not have a very tight mother relationship might be experiencing motherhood for the first time or something like that. They might be freaking out. Spirit might be sending in a galactic mother into their life. Same thing with the spiritual baby. All right. Final message for Aquarius and Taurus. Okay. Otherwise, there's this other kind of... Somebody might be moving forward from a major loss in their life. And the new person that they're bringing in, a galactic mother person, will honor the person from the past. So this might be like a widower or somebody who lost a very significant parent figure or something like that. The new person is a high vibrational person, spiritually mature person, and they will allow you to love both of them. All right? They won't get, it's not like a jealousy thing or something like that. There are some people who are going to be going to a funeral or a celebration of life. There are two people that it's going to be like the first time they're hanging out, like a date to the funeral. And I channeled this a long time ago. And it's going to be an appropriate good time. All right? Whoa. Take note. Receiving it all in inner strength. You deserve to receive abundance at full capacity. Believe in your worth and trust that the universe is ready to deliver all that you desire. Open up. Inner strength. Don't lose yourself in things you can't change. Focus on the things you can change. Attitude, mindset, and energy. You've got everything you need. Okay? Receiving it all. Inner strength. Spirit might be sending in an assistant or somebody to help through a big thing, a date, an assistant, emotional person, a guide, something like that. Okay? And final message. Final message. Authenticity. I just heard Twin Cities. Okay. Authenticity attracts. Being authentic attracts the right people and repels the wrong ones. When you stay true, you naturally filter out those who don't align with your path. Authenticity attracts. All right, there's your message. Somebody might meet a sexy motherfucker who's a first-rate version of themselves instead of a second-rate version of everyone else, like all these other hellbags are. Or broskies.